are Rapid Trigger keyboards worth it?
This is the best gaming keyboard that you can buy at the moment.
The best gaming keyboard on the market.
I'm gonna main it for the rest of my life.
The best gaming keyboard on the market, full stop.
Well, it sounds like we better check it out. This is the Wooting 80HE. Right out of the gate, it has exceeded my expectations in almost every way. But it's not perfect. It sports an 80% layout, which is a really nice middle ground between what you get on a 60% gaming focused keyboard and something like a full size or a TKL keyboard, keeping some of those things like arrow keys and a function row. The overall build quality does seem solid enough, but it certainly doesn't feel premium. There is a noticeable amount of flex to the overall frame, especially along the front lip of the board. My main keyboard over the last year has been the Newfie Halo 65, and compared to that, this has a pretty cheap feeling to the construction. I definitely prefer the sturdier feel of the Halo for sure, and though you can upgrade to the zinc alloy case for the 80HE, the price for that is pretty steep. The real reason that someone would be picking up a Wooting or any Hall Effect keyboard is for Rapid Trigger. This is a standout feature of any Wooting Hall Effect keyboard, as well as their new feature called Snappy Tappy. And yes, I know that name is super dumb. For those unfamiliar though, let me give you a quick rundown. Rapid Trigger makes it so that your keystrokes immediately unregister when you release them, and it lets you reactuate the switch without needing to fully reset it. Compared to a traditional mechanical switch, this means you can spam a key without having to cross that reset threshold each time. In theory, this makes tap strafing way more effective and improves the responsiveness of quickly releasing a key. And in practice, yeah, it does make a difference. And it is something that you can feel. It's almost like that first time when you switched from a 60 hertz screen to a 144 hertz screen. It's something that you don't initially pick up on, but as soon as you try and go back, it feels terrible. Part of the magic of these switches is that they are analog, which gives you that granular kind of input similar to what can be done with a joystick or a trigger. You can use this in things like racing games to get a lot more precision in how the car handles. The other feature that has gotten a lot of publicity lately is SnapTap, or Snappy Tappy as Wooting calls it. This was originally put out by Razer at the beginning of the year, and Wooting followed it up with their version pretty quick. This essentially prioritizes the last input that you pressed, so if you are holding down your A key on the keyboard and then press the D key, your character will immediately start moving to the right. On a standard keyboard, this will cause a double input and your character will just stand still. This historically has been known as SOCD and is something that has been around for a long time via scripting. Now, Valve has banned this in Counter-Strike because in that particular title, it can give you a pretty huge advantage. Counter-strafing is a skill gap that people need to spend many hours perfecting, and SnapTap allows even a complete novice to pull this off. In other games, this doesn't seem quite as useful, and though I found some benefits to this in Overwatch, it kind of threw me off because it felt unnatural to the muscle memory that I have developed over years and years of practice. Depending on the games you play, your mileage may vary, and it seems like some developers do consider this to be cheating, so I would definitely check to make sure it is allowed in whatever game you are playing. Now, all of these features can be customized in Wooting's Wootility Software, and it is great to have a full-featured, non-intrusive software that doesn't need to always be running in the background. No need to compile firmware and flash it to the board, no bloat, just set what you want and hit save. You can completely customize the actuation point of the switches. Reducing the actuation point makes the keys more sensitive, but also improves how responsive the keys feel. The best part of this, though, is that all of this can be done on a key-by-key basis, so you can deepen the actuation point on keys that you might accidentally hit as well. For me, that's my spacebar when I'm gaming. Every company should take a note from Wooting because this software experience is so great that it alone is a reason to recommend this keyboard over so many of the other gaming alternatives. Now, build quality aside, the typing experience of the Wooting 80HE has really surprised me. I have not had experience with Hall Effect switches prior to this, and so I was a little skeptical having watched a whole lot of reviews over the last year covering the original 60HE as well as some of the other keyboards on the market like the Drunk Deer. Now, typing feel is something that is very important to me because I not only spend a lot of time gaming, but I also spend a lot of time coding as well as writing scripts. The feel of the Wooting is unlike any other keyboard I've used. It has a bubbly, poppy feel to the switches that is really pleasant to type on. The stabilizers are also great, which I'm super happy about because bad stabilizers can completely ruin the feel and sound of a keyboard. I actually used the Razer Huntsman V3 for about a month, and the experience with that keyboard was so poor that I just took it back. But with the Wooting 80HE, well, take a listen for yourself because I for sure am happy to type away on this all day. Which ultimately brings me to the price of this board. It is $199 for the base version and $289 for the zinc alloy version. This is a pretty pricey board overall, but compared to the offerings from Logitech and Razer, buying this is a no-brainer. I think most people can be served well by having a nice pre-built mechanical keyboard like what I've been using for the last year from Newfie. With that being said though, this keyboard is definitely going to be living on my desk as my main for the foreseeable future, and that is for 3 key reasons. 1, the 80% layout is great. It gives me some additional functionality back that I was missing by having that dedicated F key row, as well as those arrow keys that are just really convenient to have. The typing feel and sound is fantastic. And lastly, the performance is industry leading. I am a sucker for the latest and greatest tech, and this keyboard is definitely that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.